Good afternoon. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. This is the news update. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians that by the exceptional action of Prophet Ibrahim.
May our sacrifice turn to prosperity. We have to make a sacrifice, and that is clear. If we have to. But Allah will not give you a burden that you cannot carry. Will not. It's there for you. Have faith in the country. Have faith in yourself. Believing that you, as a citizen of this country, you must live with one another in joy and prosperity. It will come. Nigeria will see peace, stability, and God will grant peace to those of us who are in the war front. We spare their life. We give them victory. Those in the hospitals, we give them succor and peace, and keep them in good health.
As being in the right direction. Noting that the action may be inconveniencing, he saluted the resilience of Nigerians in spite of the current challenges. In a move to ensure hitch-free Salah celebration nationwide, the security forces have deployed operatives in 8 prayer grounds, recreation centers and fun spots across the country. Additionally, the military has placed troops at operation theaters and on red alert, just as the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has dispatched thousands of police personnel at strategic points ahead of today's celebration. The deployment came 5 days after the Department of State Services raised the alarm over an alleged plot by suspected terrorists to attack worship and religious centers during the Eid festivities. The spokesperson for the service, Peter Funaya, had in a statement said the recovery of improvised explosive devices from terrorists in joint operations by the DSS, Nigerian Army and Police laid credence to the planned attack. From Kaduna State comes the report that the police command has assured of its readiness to provide adequate security arrangements for the hitch-free Salah celebration across the 23 local government areas of the state. The State Police Commissioner CP Musa Garba, who stated this at the strategic security meeting with DPOs and police officers in Kaduna State, Northwest Nigeria, said over 12,000 police personnel have been deployed ahead of the Eid al-Kabir celebration to curtail crime. He noted that unlawful acts will not be entertained in the state.
All the DPOs to ensure that we don't record any ugly incident during this Salah festivity. I want all the residents in Kaduna to have a free Salah, and I don't want any disruption during this festivity. Everybody must enjoy himself so long as it does not affect other people's rights, because you cannot enjoy yourself and try to distract other people from doing the same. So we have deployment of more than 12,000 policemen, and these policemen are going to be visible everywhere within the Kaduna metropolis and outside. All the DPOs in the local government are here, and they have been warned that they should go back and make sure that they provide proper security and ensure that the Salah.
He warned residents against anything that will then undermine the peace.
Should make sure that he keeps to himself. We are all citizens of this country, and we should be law-abiding. We know what is right and we know what is wrong. So my advice to the hoodlums is that this is not their time. This is not their time. If they had their field day other times, now is not their time. Everybody must be good citizens of this country, and we have people here who wants to enjoy themselves. They should allow them and save themselves, because we are ready.
In the same vein, the Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Audi, has ordered the deployment of 40,000 personnel across the country for a heat-free celebration. Those deployed are to ensure the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure and joint operation, according to a statement from the director, highly sensitive to their environment, especially during this festive period, to avoid unpleasant surprises from the enemies of the country. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has stated that it would be unfair to evaluate it based on the upload error that occurred during the presidential election on February 25 and that it does not represent all polls. Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner for INEC, made this comment in reaction to the final report on the general elections of the 2023 that the European Union (EU) Election Observation Mission presented on Monday. Okoye claimed that despite the difficulties encountered, many Nigerians applauded the Electoral Authority for using the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS, during the general elections. He added that the law now gives political parties the right to be aware of what occurs at the polling places. Governor Sheriff Oborwori of Delta State has said his administration would continue to partner with the leadership of the members of the Traditional Rulers Council in the state who paid him a courtesy visit at Government House, Asaba. The governor pledged his avowed commitments to remain close to the grassroots, just as he said that he would seek for fatherly advice from the traditional rulers when necessary.
I told Deltans that I want to be governor for all Deltans, and I'm a governor for all Deltans. If your kingdom is peaceful, the state is peaceful. And I know that we will have more peace in this administration. This administration is your administration. It's not administration for PDP. It's administration for all Deltans. Whether you are APC, whether you are a PDP, whether you are ABGA, we have won election. Everybody's won. Most important thing is how we bring more development.
Entertainment news: American actress Angela Bassett will receive an honorary Oscar from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. The Academy announced that Bassett, 64, will receive an Academy Honorary Award alongside comedy legend Mel Brooks and editor Carol Hero movie. The 4 Oscar statuettes will be presented at the Academy's 4th best season as a professional player has seen him scoop awards and break records, with his latest coming from an award ceremony in Ghana. And with that, we wrap it up on the news update. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry.
back to my country, I knew I wanted to come and work for conservation in Nigeria and nowhere else. Before WCS took over managing the ranger activity, about 10 to 20 elephant carcasses were recorded, killed by poachers annually. Rangers were not properly trained, they were not armed. So
a very big problem for us in Yankari.
I realized there was lots of grievances from the surrounding communities. Sometimes they would send huge complaints and huge threats that they would kill elephants because elephants have gone out to destroy their farms, destroy their crops.
A duk gaba ɗaya jakure su, amma da kai dai mai gona zai kore kayansa ko yana damuwansa da kuma lokacin ma mutane ba su da yawa ba su yi gonakai da yawa a kusa dajin kamar yanzu ba.
We believe a couple of elephants were killed in the past because of the problems with crop raiding. Then I got the opportunity to do the CLP program with WCS Nigeria. It has a very good collection of very
rangers in proper perspective.
Working with Yankari Rangers has been really a great experience for me. It took me a while when I took over to understand them. So I got closer to them, spent more time with them, visited them in their homes, ate the same food with them, brought them so close that I was able to understand what are some of their needs, what are their problems. So when we took over, we were able to work with our partners. Over time, the number of elephant carcasses went down, the number of patrols increased, and we can see poaching going down. I identified the 6 communities that were most affected by elephant crop raiding. I went around and had meetings with the chiefs and told them about the initiative, and I told them we have funding to have 2 people from their communities who would work with us as elephant guardians. So we trained those people on safe and effective ways to chase elephants away from the farm. Yankari has the last viable elephant population in Nigeria. The last elephant carcass we recorded in Yankari was in 2015 in May.
And dedication.
I look at the rangers sometimes, the success stories we have, it's one of the driving force I have that keeps me going. I said, if in such a small time we've touched this number of lives and we've made these changes, then I cannot give up. It's something that is so dear to me. It's something that I've sacrificed my life, I've sacrificed so much for.
Naja is Yankari and Yankari is Naja.
Nigeria has produced and continues to produce great writers who have won great accolades and recognition for their work. When discussing African literature, names like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, and Buchi Emecheta. But beyond these writers, exist modern writers redefining the fate of literature in Nigeria, Africa, and globally. 1. Chimamanda Adichie, the recipient of a MacArthur Foundation Fellowship, was born on the 15th of September 1977 in Enugu, Nigeria. As a teenager, Chimamanda left for the United States and gained a scholarship to study communication at the Drexel University in Philadelphia, then pursued a degree in communication and political science at Eastern Connecticut State University. Her works have been translated into over 30 languages, and as her 2012 talk, We Should All Be Feminists, started a worldwide conversation about feminism and was published as a book in 2014. Tomi Adeyemi. Tomi, the author of Children of Blood and Bone, was born on August 1st, 1993, in the United States to parents who emigrated from Nigeria. After graduating Harvard University with an honors degree in English literature, she received a fellowship to study West African mythology, religion, and culture in Salvador, Brazil. Her debut novel, Children of Blood and Bone, has spent over 2 years on the New York Times bestseller list, and its film adaptation is currently in active development with Disney's Fox and Lucasfilms. She was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. She is a Hugo and Nebula award-winning Nigerian. Teju Cole. Teju Cole is a novelist, photographer, and curator. He was born in 1975 in the US. He is currently the Gore Vidal Professor of the Practice of Creative Writing at Harvard University. His novella, Every Day is for the Thief, was named a Book of the Year by the New York Times, The Globe and Mail, NPR, and The Telegraph, and shortlisted for the PEN Open Book Award. Another one of his books, Open City, also featured on numerous Book of the Year lists and won the PEN Hemingway Award, the New York City Book Award for Fiction, and was shortlisted for the National Book Critics Circle Award and the New York Public Library Young Lions Award. Teju Cole has contributed to New York Times, The New Yorker, Granta, Brick, and many other magazines. Akwaekwe Emezi. Born 1987, Emezi is a National Book Foundation 535 honoree. She was born in Umuahia and raised in Aba, Nigeria. Her adult novel, The Death of Vivek Oji, was a New York Times bestseller, an indie bestseller, and an indie next selection, receiving rave reviews from the New York Times, USA Today, NPR, the LA Times, and the Washington Post. Her debut autobiographical novel, Freshwater, is in early development as a TV series at FX, with Emezi writing and producing with Tamara P. Carter. Translated into 12 languages, Freshwater won the 2019 Otherwise Award, formerly the Tiptree and the Normal Book. It was a New York Times notable book, as well as a finalist for the Center for Fiction's First Nobel Prize, the PEN Hemingway Award, the NYPL Young Lions Fiction Award, the Edmund White Award for Debut Fiction, and a Lambda Literary Award. Beyond these writers are more individuals, old and young, using the power of the pen and ink to change the face and narrative of the country and the continent.
Abraham Moses Jacob, you are one family.
There's no doing all this sport in Nigeria.
Woken up before 4 a.m. I'm still sleeping by then. So she surprised the time to make DJs for me while coming to the office, you know. And some other things like that I cannot do easily if she's not there. So
well, the relationship is virtually about sacrifice. So, and both parties should be willing to make sacrifices. So there is no law that says the man must sacrifice for the woman or the woman must sacrifice for the man. Even among relationship of the same sex, normal friendship will still involve sacrifice.
I think both the husband and the wife, they make sacrifices for each other. And it is sacrifice that can even make both. And I cannot say one make more sacrifice than the other. So it all depends on the area where the sacrifices are being made.
So men will be looking for the money to please the wife and to pay for the school children. But women will be praying. Women are the ones that are much because they are praying for God's sustaining of their marriages and their homes, on their children, and on their husbands, so that God should sustain them and bless their lives. So men are just looking for money. They don't pray. They don't believe that prayer is the one that sustains life, providing for house, but they depend on their labors. So that is why women are more so sacrifices on relationship.
That's a very, very cunning one. Because if I say a guy does, the ladies will be like, no. If I say a lady, the guys will be like, boy, you're a guy. But I would say both of them do sacrifice. But if you were to ask me who sacrificed the more, I would say it is the lady, because in most cases you see her doing more. Let me just, by doing, I believe you understand, doing more. Because ladies are more of a multitasker. They know how to multitask. But guys are more like the passive ones. So I guess the lady do sacrifice more in a relationship. Thank you.
The most important And the biggest sacrifice ever is time. Then if you are able to give your time to the material things, you understand what I'm saying by material things. So I can't share anything with my partner as far as she's worth it.
I will not say man or woman make sacrifices, so it depends. As occasion demands it, the man can make sacrifice. There will also be time for the woman to make sacrifice. And evil amongst them, if you check within her assemblies, she will make sacrifices for some of her assemblies, some of her female friends. She will equally make sacrifices. Some will make sacrifices for her too. So life is about making sacrifices. God already makes sacrifice for all of us.
Abraham, Moses, Jacob, you are one family.
They're good doing this sport in Nigeria.
See how your body just dripping diamond.
Use the number of financially excluded Nigerians from 46.3% in 2010 to 20% by 2020. Many fintech startups are plugging into this gap and targeting niche markets. One of such startups is Harvest. Harvest was founded by Sholape Akimpelu, who once worked at a marketing agency. Her dream is to help women in Africa take control of their finances by bridging the economic gender gap. She believes more women need to be intentional by improving their financial well-being.
Okay, so Harvest simply is an inclusive finance for African women. So we give women familiar access to savings, impact investments, and credit. So when we say impact investment, that is women impact investing into smallholder of milk farmers specifically. So that way yourself, right, we equip you with personal.
Nigeria is among the leading African countries for favoring women entrepreneurship. So it's also Africa's largest economy. And you find that women's contribution to job creation is 40% in Nigeria and 45% in Lagos State, despite its low representation. And I'll probably talk a bit more about job creation because at the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, job creation is our major mandate when it comes to solving the unemployment challenge that we have. And then finally, female economic participation is below 50% in Nigeria, which means that women need to be empowered more, and most especially female-owned businesses like yours need to know how to get the bag and finance their business venture. So why do you need to finance your business venture? And it boils down to what I always say. Money is a tool. When you understand that how your business can grow through the right mix to even expand your business. And some of the things that you can use when it comes to financing your business venture, some of the things that can be covered include your initial startup cost, purchasing equipment or inventory, hiring employees, especially when you need expert trade staff. And when I mean expert trade staff, I mean experts in your particular industry. Marketing and advertising, because marketing is a huge budget when it comes to being able to increase the visibility of your business. Research and development, especially around innovation and how to improve your business. And then you have your working capital, which is just sustaining your day-to-day operations. Now, there's so many other reasons why you could decide to finance your business venture, but these are the main ones that you see over and over, and LSETF we see as the reason. I would say additionally, obviously, with the likes of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, we find that a lot of people are taking loans to be able to get back on their feet, right? So, and another thing you find is quite a number of why financing is important. Let's now look at the key financing options. What I'll try to do here is to just really talk about these financing options which you can find, and then also mention some of the advantages and disadvantages of these options. So first things first, which almost everybody does, is bootstrapping and personal savings. We all know, like, if you're going to start a business, the first question is, how much do you have? Like, what have you put into it? It shows some level of commitment. And it's just basically using your personal funds and savings to finance your business. What are the advantages of doing this? Well, you have full control over finances and decision making. And you don't have anything like debt or interest payments to worry about. The limitations, though, is that you are limited in terms of your initial capital to what you have. So if you don't have that much, then in terms of your scale and your vision for your business, you are very limited. Then there's also the personal financial risk, where you use all your money, all your savings and everything, and put it into creating this or starting this business. And then, the economy happens and a bunch of things happen, and that's it. You're gone. Like, the money is gone, everything is gone, and you don't know where else to start from. Then there's also potential constraints on business growth. Then we have the traditional bank loans, which most people know. So it's just obtaining loans from a financial institution. So you have your microfinance banks and you have your commercial banks. And the processes tend to be a bit cumbersome. However, the advantage, pay monthly. So it's established, so which means you're able to plan a lateral or personal guarantee that may be needed. So for some commercial banks, they would ask you for, maybe a car, maybe if you have property, they'll ask for your property, all these things as form of collateral when you want to get a loan from them. And then you have government loans for small businesses. And these are loans that are provided and guaranteed by the government. So, for example, the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund provides loans to MSMEs, nano, micro, small and medium enterprises, single-digit loans. Obviously, I had to do a little bit of marketing there. But in addition to LSETF, you would have the CBN as well, provides loans. You have the BOI, you have the Bank of Agriculture, if you're into agriculture. Then you have SMEDEN, which is the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. Then you have the development interest rates to businesses that are looking to expand. Now, the advantages of having government-backed loans is that there are lower interest rates. You are able to negotiate around the response time. So where you have your commercial banks who might be able to give you a response, why should it take so long with government agencies as opposed to commercial banks? But when you look at the interest rates, you have your venture capital and angel investors. A lot of us talk about investors these days, and it's just basically investment from venture capitalists and angel investors into your business. What are the advantages of doing this? First of all, you are venture capitalists as well as the angel investors come with a lot of experience in the industry that you're is when you're selling equity in your business, it's dilution of ownership and control, which means that you no longer have 100% of the business. You have to now sort of them. We know the likes of Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, and the rest of them are most likely buying your products, right? There's an access to a wider pool of potential tips for success. So you have to look at, to be able to succeed in terms of crowdfunding, you need to be able to have a very compelling campaign and a clear value proposition. So a lot of your work, which I guess could be a challenge, depends if you're not very good at it, a lot of your work would have to go towards ensuring that you have a very compelling story. Then you have grants and competitions. And again, we have quite a number of them these days. Now with grants and competitions, it's just securing funding through grants or participating in business competitions. So quite a number of organizations do that, international organizations, local, a few of them actually do that. And the advantages of this is that it's non-dilutive funding. So which means that you still have ownership of your business. There's also the exposure to potential investors and mentors, especially for competition grants funding. And in some cases, the grant funding, although it's free, is not really free because you have to follow the guidelines of using the money and being able. So you can't just wake up and say, oh, I got this grant and I decided to change my idea halfway. It doesn't quite work that way. And then you have impact investing and social capital, and just attracting investment from individuals and organizations focused on social and environmental impact. So there are quite a lot of them that are coming up these days, and it's just investment with the intention of generating positive social or environmental impact. So for instance, say you had a company that was into like waste to wealth, recycling, that would fall under impact investing, because as much as you are earning money, you are also having a positive impact on the environment. So the advantages of this is having investors who are aligned with your mission. So alignment with mission-driven investors. There's a potential for long-term partnership and shared value creation. And then, it's for you, the right kind of impact investor for your organization. So now we understand the key financing options. We've looked at the alternative financing options. Next, we're just going to talk about the things that are very important when it comes to getting money. And why am I emphasizing this? The reason is because a lot of times when you have businesses, go to get loans and things like that, you have proper financial planning. You should have proper bookkeeping, right? Proper plan for your finances. You know what next. So you can't do everything all at once. You know what next. You know what level you need to be at financially to be able to get maybe additional equipment or be able to get maybe the right quality talents that you might be looking for. It also enables informed decision-making and resource allocation. Where's your money going to? That's why you need to plan, right? So if maybe you need to invest in a new delivery truck, maybe you need to get a delivery truck, right? So it's your financial planning is what will help you put that in place. Then it also helps identify potential risks and opportunities. Now, when looking at the key elements of financial planning and management, very good at income tracking, but we're not that good on expenses tracking. Then track and monitor spending to ensure financial discipline. I cannot overemphasize that. What you find in a lot of businesses, especially sole entrepreneurs, who might be, running the business on their own. They might have maybe one or two staff who find that they would dip into like their profits for like personal gain and for things like that, or for urgent personal needs, right? So the inability to track or monitor your, in terms of your finances will affect your discipline. And once it affects your discipline, it affects your, I guess the word is your attractiveness to sort of be able to gain additional funding. Then it also helps you to allocate funds strategically to prioritize your business needs. Then you have cash flow management. I think the speaker before me talked a little bit about cash flow. And it's just, so basically for your cash flow management is just maintaining a clear understanding of your inflows and outflows. So you manage your cash flow effectively to cover all operational expenses and your debt obligations. So you need to know what's coming in and what's going out and how to ensure that it's stable. And then you have implement strategies to improve cash flow, such as maybe offer discounts. And this is like maybe when you're trying to get or negotiate favorable payment terms with suppliers, just so that you are not running at a loss that particular month. And finally, financial projections. So forecast revenue, expenses, cash flow for future periods, and then also using your historical data and market research to make informed projections. So what I mean by that is if you have a product or you have a line of products, and maybe one of your products has not been doing very well, your data, your historical data will let you know if you want to continue their product. The thing to look at, and I'm rounding off here, is credits, the importance of the concept of credits and credit history. And so because of that, they were taking loans and not paying back, right? Or they were having delayed payments. And so it cost us to do a lot of inward reflection and then also a lot of education to the public to say, understand what your credit history is, understand what a credit is, and know how to build that credit. And that's basically what I'm sharing today, to say it's very important to First, establish credits. So I know you have a business and you've had this business since you're in secondary school. You've been using your personal account. But guess what? That's not going to help you when you want to get additional funding, especially when you want to go to the financial institutions to grow your business. So you have to open a business account, right? You have to open for a business account, and then you have to get business credits, apply for loans, right? Then when knowing how to manage your payments, right? Proper cash flows, inflows, outflows, then you also establish trade credit relationships with your suppliers. Are there some suppliers that you have built very good relationships with that can offer to give you a credit line? So a credit line means that you're able to take the products on credit and then you pay after, right? After you have sold this product or sold the goods. Then you have to are reviewing your credit, not be more than 33% of how much that you are bringing in terms of income. And then build relationships with lenders and investors. So cultivate strong relationships, demonstrate a track record, and then communicate transparently and proactively. And just to round off, right? So just some key takeaways and some practical tips is, I would say, first of all, when you're starting a business, so bootstrap and use personal savings to fund your business initially. Start from there. From there, you are now able to research and explore traditional bank loans as well as government and also like investigate government loans to grow your business. And as your business grows, you can then look at investors. So you notice that here, your first point of call is not necessarily your investing all this funding. Remember, it's very important to have an effective financial planning, build and maintain strong credits, and obviously seek professional assistance from advisors and engage in continuous learning and staying informed through a lot of the financial trends and policies that are being put in place. Now, why is all of this important for organizations like LSETF, and specifically for why should women-owned businesses be empowered more, and why should you grow your business? So research has shown us that for every woman-owned business or MSME that has been supported, it creates an average of 3 direct jobs and 9 indirect jobs. So women are the ones who are doing majority of the employment and creation of jobs in Lagos State, as well as Nigeria and Africa and globally as a whole. So it is my wish and prayer that for everyone who's actually taking part in this session, to take these tips to grow their business, because the more they grow their business, the more they're able to create jobs. And as they're creating jobs, we are collectively solving the unemployment challenge that we have in Nigeria today. Thank you very much.
Running a business, what a brave thing to do. It takes guts to chase your dream and show up every day to make it happen. It's inspiring to bring someone with you on the journey, to believe your dream is big enough to be passed on to the next generation. To keep going, even when you are standing face to face with challenges and limitations that threaten to weigh you down. Even when you find yourself wondering if you are on the right path, you must believe that your dream is possible and your legacy in good hands. The Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is here to help you make your dream come true, no matter how big it may seem. And when your dream comes true, you will be glad that you never gave up on it. Visit www.lsetf.ng for more information. Running a business, what a brave thing to do. It takes guts to chase your dream and show up every day to make it happen. It's inspiring to bring someone with you on the journey, to believe your dream is big enough to be passed on to the next generation. To keep going, even when you are standing face to face with challenges and limitations that threaten to weigh you down. Even when you find yourself wondering if you are on the right path, you must believe that your dream is possible and your legacy in good